Good morning, IHSA football family. It is time now for the watch list. Class of 2023 offensive linemen as I talk about them. Again, a quick reminder. Again, this is a watch list. It changes daily, monthly. I add names weekly. Make sure you check it out every week. Again, I'm filming this on March 3rd, 2022. So in the morning. So please understand, if you're watching this in June or July, make sure you check the watch list on deepdishfootball.com with the Illinois watch list. Check it out because there probably is a lot more added names. But this is March. I always do this. This is a yearly video. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. That is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now, if there's an offensive lineman that it might be on the defensive line as well as on the watch list, so check that out, or athletes watch list too. So check that out also on the Illinois watch list. And again, I'm also on Instagram and Snapchat. Follow me on Instagram. Also, please subscribe to this channel. And if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip/donation via PayPal link below or Venmo link. The Venmo link will also be on deepdishfootball.com. Tips and donations and advertisement. And still looking for advertisers and sponsors. So if you're interested, again, my email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. All right, so we get into the class of 2023, and A+. I give this class an A+. I think this is going to be one of the more historic classes of offensive linemen in the state of Illinois. I think this class is just rich in depth, ability to fit multiple offenses. Athleticism is off the chart athleticism for this offensive line. So definitely a thing you want to check out. All right. And again, let's get ready and let's talk about it first. Miles McVay, East St. Louis. And again, as I talk about Miles McVay, East St. Louis, there are two historic recruits in this class. One is Miles McVay out of East St. Louis. His potential level is unlimited. He could be one of the best recruits to come out of the state of Illinois historically. And it'll be interesting to see what school he goes to. I talked to especially a lot of the Big Ten coaches that have said, yeah, he's probably going to go to the SEC. Miles McVay is that big dog, and he is an absolute monster and just an absolutely great kid. And this offensive line for class of 2023, high class, high character offensive line. No doubt about it. This offensive linemen are for sure good prospects and definitely just high character kids and kids that you want on your program. Chris Farrell out of Lisle. Small school stud. I've compared him to Belski from Mantino, and who's now at the University of Illinois. I think he's still at the University of Illinois. Again, Mantino was in the same conference as Lisle, and again, this guy Chris Farrell is a kid that you need to know about. 6'5", athletic, plays basketball too, and definitely one of the top offensive linemen in the state of Illinois and in the Midwest. It's a kid that you need to keep an eye out for. Matthew Warkins out of Dixon, and I love this kid. If he gets his hands on you, you're done. You're done for. And Matthew Warkins out of Dixon is definitely one of those kids that's going to be continuously progressing and a kid that you need to know about as we get into the spring, going into the summer. But Matthew Warkins out of Dixon, one of those guys, again, great handwork, is still a little bit of a raw prospect, but definitely a kid recruit that you need to check out. Nikolas Belski of LaSalle-Peru. I love this kid. This kid is a battler. Tough SOB, will knock you on your ass. But LaSalle-Peru has got one of the best kept secrets in Illinois. And Nikolas Belski, you need to pay attention to this kid. This kid is an absolute game changer for a college program. Nikolas Belski. Giovanni Pamfili out of Hinsdale Central. And what more can I say about this kid? This kid has completely blown apart the Western Suburban Conference. I'm very impressed with his technique, very impressed with his pure form as a Hinsdale Central offensive lineman. And again, Hinsdale Central has got a great offensive line coach who I consider as one of the best offensive line coaches in the state of Illinois. But Giovanni Pamfili, definitely a kid that you need to keep an eye out for, is going to be a top recruit in the state of Illinois. Next one, I do apologize if I murder last names or first names. If I mispronounce first names or last names, again, I am horrible with that. Grzegorz Krupa of Taft is an underrated recruit out of Taft High School. Again, another tough SOB kid, knock you on your ass, does everything correctly. But Grzegorz Krupa of Taft is one of those guys that you got to keep an eye out for and should be on your list. A CPS kid and definitely an interesting recruit. And just like talking about that, a little bit disappointed in the Chicago public schools. There's not a lot of good linemen this year as there were in the last years. So it's definitely I think keep an eye out for. Mylin Mosely out of Mount Zion. Great frame from this kid out of Mylin Mosely out of Mount Zion is a kid that you need to know about. Do not sleep on this kid. This kid's going to be a late merger, especially going into the summer. Mylin Mosely out of Mount Zion. Do not sleep on him. William Beargie out of Nazareth Academy. Also plays defensive line. Another tough SOB kid. Great center to low gravity. Great burst. You need to know this kid. He's getting offers. He's going to pick up more offers. But William Beargie out of Nazareth. And again, another great frame kid. Nick Perry out of Morris. Mr. Work It All. Blue collar, basically a blue collar lifestyle. This kid. Is not taking credit and all that stuff. He's the typical offensive line, typical hog. Will bust your ass on if you're going against him. Is definitely one of those kids you got to check out for Nick Perry from Morris. All right, let's go to Spencer Dow, Maine South. Again, late merger on the recruiting list. Talked with college coaches about him. He's been one of those recruits that they're looking at, especially going into summer. But Spencer Dow for Maine South is going to be, again, coming from a great lineage of Maine South offensive lineman. Spencer Dow is one of those kids that you must keep an eye out for. And I love his overall athleticism. Stephen Young, talking about athleticism, another highly athletic offensive lineman from Kankakee High School. Stephen Young is unbelievable. I know a lot of people don't like him because of his size, because I think he's 6'2", if I'm not mistaken. But he gets the job done, and he is awesome in the run. I really like Stephen Young, especially with those open reads and zone offensive blocking schemes. With Stephen Young, he's definitely to keep an eye out for. Jacob Welch, Johnsburg. Jacob Welch, Johnsburg, is a kid that's getting offers. I was literally told. I think it was like 2 years ago. Well, he's not. He goes to a small school. He's not going to do that. I hate to say this, but bullshit. And I apologize for swearing, but that's the only time I'm going to swear. Jacob Welch is the real deal. High character kid. Gets it all done. Again, great frame. Has grown into his body. Great growth, great potential from this kid, Jacob Welch from Johnsburg. He is one of the top 10 offensive linemen in the state of Illinois. Could be a top 5 as soon as the smoke clears out, but definitely kid to keep an eye out for. Ryan Susnar, Minooka. And Ryan Susnar, again, a little bit like that Morris kid from Nick Perry. Again, knock yang ass, simple as that. Good strength, good center core strength. Again, good reach as well. But Ryan Susnar from Minooka, definitely a kid you want to check out, especially getting into that spring. Xavier McClendon out of O'Fallon could be a top 3 offensive lineman prospect. And just a quick reminder, because this was reminded to me from Coach Wiggins of East St. Louis. But Xavier McClendon was with East St. Louis. Just imagine that. Just how good that offensive line could have. That East St. Louis offensive line is a beast, no doubt about that. They're one of the best. This is a historic offensive line. But even if they had Xavier McClendon, wow. But Xavier McClendon, again, good framed kid playing for O'Fallon High School right now. Definitely, it could be a late emerger. Could burst onto the scene this summer, especially with college coaches looking at him. But Xavier McClendon out of O'Fallon, again, great frame, great athleticism. Jacob Katauskas of Lemont High School. Another offensive lineman that we talk about that we should keep an eye out for out of Lemont High School is definitely another kid to keep an eye out for. Good overall athleticism, still raw. Still has to work on a few things, especially footwork, but Lemont has a beast in Jacob Katauskas. I apologize again. Brandon Henderson out of East St. Louis is another one of those big dog offensive linemen coming out of East St. Louis, and definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Brandon Henderson, great overall athleticism, a good reach, and again, another top 10 offensive lineman in the state of Illinois. Brandon Henderson, again, Needs a little bit of work. I think a little bit on the footwork. Still a little raw, but definitely going to keep an eye out for. Michael Kostanov of Loyola Academy. And Loyola Academy, again, another great lineage school for offensive lineman. Michael Kostanov is definitely one of those kids. Again, knocks you on your ass, reaches to that second block, and will put you on your ass. Simple as that. But Michael Kostanov of Loyola Academy is another huge recruit. Austin Barrett, St. Charles East. He's received a bunch of offers. Brother plays at Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, and he will definitely be another Big Ten player to look out for. But Austin Barrett, again, we still have, and the scary thing about Austin Barrett, I'm going to say this right now, we have not seen his full potential yet. Austin Barrett and St. Charles East, we have not seen those glimpses yet. He has a great shot at battling for that number 3 top offensive lineman in the state of Illinois. He's that good. And overall, his leverage is unbelievable, especially for that age of an offensive lineman. Colin Grigger of St. Rita, another highly athletic offensive lineman. Again, still very raw in his potential, but I love his aggressiveness. But definitely Colin Grigger out of St. Rita. Kristen Medlock of Homewood of Flossmoor. Great on-field IQ for an offensive lineman. Definitely a kid you want to check out, especially on his. I really do like his pass blocking technique, and definitely, again, still has not reached that level of potential. So he's definitely very raw, and you could definitely see him getting into that top 10 offensive lineman in the state of Illinois. Nate Compare, Crystal Lake South. Ladies and gentlemen, Crystal Lake South, another giant. And Nate Compare is one of them, and definitely a kid you need to keep an eye out for as well. Again, good center to low gravity. Nice little burst, too. It needs a little more work on those hands, but Nate Compare of Crystal Lake South is definitely a kid that you need to keep an eye out for. And we go down even more, and we get to Cooper Starks out of North Mac. Kid's gotten some offers. He's going to continually get some offers. Small school stud out of North Mac, out of Verdun, Illinois. Again, one of those kids we need to be talking about a little bit more as we get into the Midwestern scene of who are the top offensive linemen in the Midwest. And Cooper Starks could be one of those kids out of North Mac. Again, overall potential is there. Still has to grow into his body a little bit, and definitely his balance as well. Especially with his handwork, is definitely a thing to work on as well. Sam Morgan out of Dunlap, and Sam Morgan is a very raw potential player. Definitely going to have to look more into his growth, and definitely the style of play will be different for him when getting into the college level. But can he get into that top 20 level for top 15 offensive linemen in the state of Illinois? Yes. But it's going to be a question. It's going to be a question of his growth. But Sam Morgan of Dunlap is a top offensive lineman in the state of Illinois. Cole Roberson out of OPRF. I love this kid's athleticism. Again, hand placement is going to be huge. Again, him battling. And I think one of the big things, too, with him, and I see as well, again, is he can fit in any offense. With Cole Roberson, very impressed with him. Luke Risky out of Huntley, a kid that we talked about 2 years ago. He's continuously climbing up the ladder. A lot of college coaches love him, and I think that they love his level of readiness and his ability. If you need him to go in a college program and say there's a couple injuries that happens, God forbid, Luke Risky can be that player that can go on tough as a freshman and succeed on that offensive line. So definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Anthony Bursa, a Joliet Catholic, a big stud, already a top 5 offensive lineman from the state of Illinois. Oh, what's that? He's a wrestler? Oh, I wonder why he was a wrestler. Why are offensive linemen and wrestlers, and defensive linemen too, why they succeed so much? Pretty interesting. Technique. Oh, wow. Crazy. Anthony Bursa, again, I apologize, but again, I keep preaching linemen. If you have wrestling, do it. Anthony Bursa out of Joliet Catholic, again, a multi-athletic offensive lineman. Again, an easy fit, and again, readiness level into his freshman year, getting into college. Again, overall athleticism is unbelievable. Again, great center to low gravity, great burst. I like that. And again, for Joliet Catholic, especially in his run blocking, he was unbelievable. So definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Cooper Phelan, Harrisburg, tall, Tall, lengthy kid. Again, still learning, still very, very, very raw. But if he can reach his full potential, he can be a top 3 offensive lineman in the state of Illinois, and could be a top offensive lineman in the Midwest as we talk about it. But definitely Cooper Phelan out of Harrisburg is a kid that you need to know. Sam Singleton of Mount Carmel, again, potential. There's a lot of potential we talk about and how they grow. And this is going to be huge for Sam Singleton of Mount Carmel. Great frame, but again, a little bit cement in the boots. We'll see how it happens, how good he can get with his foot placement, and his footwork, hands. We'll see. And again, he's got that frame. He's got that great frame that a college coach loves. But we'll see what happens. DeMarcus Caston, Brother Rice. I saw this kid at Fist Football. Unbelievable. Very impressed with him. He just keeps getting better and better and better. Is going to continuously progress to that top spot. Very interested to see how he develops this fall, and that's going to be very interesting this fall. All right, so we get into Nathaniel Stevens out of Wheaton North High School. Again, another big-bodied offensive lineman for Wheaton North. Good athleticism, good speed, great burst. Just needs to work on his technique, but definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Gabe Rosen out of Evanston, big offensive lineman for the state of Illinois. Still, again, some questions on development. Can he develop to that top offensive line spot? And is he seen as one of the top steals in the state of Illinois? And he could be one of the top steals in the state of Illinois. But Gabe Rosen out of Evanston is an offensive lineman that you need to know. Jacob Klink out of Honahue gains some muscle mass, looks good. Again, big thing with him is going to be, again, how he develops his technique. Still's got to develop a little bit more on it. Again, that agility and speed, that's going to be a huge thing that the college coaches are going to look at. But he's definitely a top 10 offensive lineman in the state of Illinois. Definitely a kid that you need to know about. Jacob Klinken of Honahue. What's very impressive with him at the Boom Showcase, he's only going to continue to get better. All right, and we get into Libertyville. In Libertyville, we talk about this. Trenton Van Boyning out of Libertyville has been unbelievable. I saw him Fist Football. It was Fist Football 2020 in the fall. Yeah, it was 2020. And I was completely impressed with the kid. He's got the frame. He's got everything. Again, it's just it's that growth project. And again, can he grow into his body? It's going to be very interesting. But Trenton Van Boyning of Libertyville has a chance of being a top prospect in this Midwest as well, but definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Michael Jamer out of Plainfield East. Oh, this kid is awesome. I really like this kid. Overall athleticism, again, a top 5 offensive lineman from Plainfield East High School. Good punch, and let's not forget too, great footwork as well too. Always been very impressed with this kid. I think he could be, again, a top 3. I said top 3 offensive lineman. And I think he's one of those can't miss recruits that you need to look at. Asher Thomasowski out of Mount Carmel has taken the recruiting game by the storm. I consider him one of the top 3 offensive linemen that's talked about in the state of Illinois. I think a lot of college coaches love his potential and his growth. I think a lot of college coaches see him as a clay project. And when I mean a clay project, I mean they can mold him into the spot that they like. And Asher is one of those players that's like one of those top clay projects that you can mold into a spot that an offensive line college coach can like. And Asher Thomasowski is definitely one of those kids. Just overall athleticism, leverage, and how he plays instinctively. And just on-field IQ is impressive to a lot of college coaches, but definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Tyson Kramer out of Pontiac, and another Fist Football guy that I really, really like. And again, from that Illinois area where a lot of people sleep on. But Tyson Kramer is one of those kids that could be special. I believe he's also, if I'm not mistaken, a long snapper too. But his overall athleticism is impressive. Another basketball player as well. But Tyson Kramer out of Pontiac High School is a kid that you need to know. Had an interview with him. Unbelievable. Just an unbelievable kid that you need to check out. Chris Terrick, Glenbar West, already a top 5 offensive lineman in the state of Illinois. I consider a top 10 offensive lineman in the Midwest. Chris Terek is that deal. He is the real deal. From his progressions from his freshman year to his progressions his junior year, he has been nothing but superb. He has learned the game. He has learned from his mistakes, and he continuously gets better every season. And as a college coach, you want that. And for me, I think the big thing from his is, again, his level of aggressiveness. And again, Glenbard West has always been a good school, a good lineage of offensive linemen and defensive linemen, but Chris Terek is one of those kids. Ben Wallace, Metamora, again, high frame kid, still very, very raw. And we see how he progresses. We'll see how he progresses from summer going into fall. I think he could be a huge camp star, but Ben Wallace out of Metamora is a kid that you need to know. Nick Sterlisk, and again, I apologize if I murder the last names. I am not good at pronunciation. I am not an English major. I'm sorry. Out of St. Rita, very impressed with this kid. Boom Showcase, he showed me a lot. He showed me what he was about. He showed me that he is a top recruit in the state of Illinois. Was completely flabbergasted with his athleticism. And overall, his hand placement as well. And to mention too, again, we can talk about a star offensive lineman that's 6'6", and wow, he's a star and all that other stuff. But you got to get low, and he gets low. And there's a lot of offensive linemen that they're 6'6", they're 300, 275 pounds, but they don't get low and they get blown off their ass. And the defensive lineman just absolutely kills them and kills their quarterback. But Nick Sterlisk out of St. Rita is definitely one of those kids. John Hackett out of Marist. I love this kid. Again, one of those kids you must pay attention to when we get into those later months, especially in the summer. Could be a huge star. But John Hackett out of Marist, again, Chicago Catholic League, a kid that you need to know. Overall aggressiveness, unbelievable. On-field IQ, another kid to keep an eye out for. Now we get another pure athletic offensive lineman, Luke Van Voors, out of Homewood Flossmoor, one of the top offensive linemen in the state. Athletic, but still so raw. Very, very, very. He's one of the rawest offensive linemen in this class. No doubt about it. But if he can develop into a star offensive lineman, he could be a top 5 recruit in the state of Illinois, but still raw. Everything from hands to fighting that defensive lineman, to foot placement. Footwork is going to be very, very hard for Luke Van Voors. But if he gets it all good, he could be a top 5 offensive lineman, and could be a top recruit in the Midwest as well. But definitely one of those kids. We talk about another top recruit in the Midwest, Paris Patterson, East St. Louis. They got those boys. They got those big boys that will knock you on your ass. And Paris Patterson is one of them. Again, one of those offensive linemen. He's a little bit overshadowed by Miles McVay, but Paris Patterson is a hell of an offensive lineman, along with Henderson. But Paris Patterson is a kid that you need to know. I love his athleticism. I love his aggressiveness. I saw a few of his run blocks, and I was completely impressed. He took care of his first block, and he went into that second block very well. Paris Patterson out of East St. Louis. Cannon Leonard, Aurora, Iroquois West, another big, raw offensive lineman, just like his brother. But again, he has the potential to be a top 5 recruit in the state of Illinois. Basketball player, multi-athletic star, unbelievable in Cannon Leonard. Another big kid that you need to know about. Again, athleticism, superb. On-field IQ, superb. But it's just still so raw, but could be something special. Next one, who I can see as the second historic recruit in the state of Illinois, Charlie Grzegorz of Alman, Rock Island Catholic. He is a star. He is a multiple sport offensive lineman. He is a star wrestler. Understand that. He is the real deal. Unbelievable. Everything he has. he grades out perfectly. Grades out perfectly. Handwork, foot placement, footwork, unbelievable. On-field IQ, one of the most smartest players I've ever seen in the state of Illinois. He does everything correct. Center to low gravity. Pure energy off that line. He plays offense, he plays defense, and I know a lot of coaches have him as an offensive line because he's that special. And again, when you have a smart kid and he's either defense or offense, and you're looking for that player that can protect your quarterback, Charlie is one of those players you got to keep an eye out for. And he is, with Miles McVay, the two historic offensive linemen coming out of the state of Illinois. And when I mean historic, I mean very historic. These are two special guys. And Charlie Grzegorz, the thing that makes him so special is that he can be a star when he gets to his freshman level of college. That's how scary he is. Blaine Haley, Olympia, another small school stud that we need to be talking about. Blaine Haley has been unbelievable. He's going to get more offers. He is that star offensive lineman from the state of Illinois. Again, small school stud. He's going to merge. He has a good chance of being a top 5 offensive lineman in the state of Illinois and the top 10 offensive lineman in the Midwest. But Blaine Haley out of Olympia has done a wonderful job. Now, it'll be very interesting as we get into the camp season and we get those pads on and he faces some defensive linemen with those pads. And there's going to be more college eyes on him. But he's one of the more talked about offensive linemen, especially a lot of college coaches asking me about him. This winter, he is one of those players. And the last one, O'Fallon, Marcus Hansen, high character kid, great on-field IQ, good reach as well. Still a little bit raw on the athleticism, has to develop more, grow into his body. But Marcus Hansen out of O'Fallon is one of the top offensive linemen in the state of Illinois that you need to know about. And that is it. And again, more names will be added. Make sure you check the watch list. If you are watching this is March 3rd, 2022. If you're watching this in June, check the watch list on deepdishfootball.com. Visit deepdishfootball.com. Follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you like my work, feel free to leave a tip/donation if you get PayPal link or Venmo link as well. Venmo was also on the Deep Dish Football to look at tips and donations. And again, I also have the quarterback video. Next video up will be athletes, wide receivers, and tight ends as we talk about them. But this has been the offensive line. And please, if you're watching this, if you're a sophomore offensive lineman, if you're a freshman offensive lineman, if you're playing basketball, good for you. If you're looking for a sport to play, or you're not interested in the sport to play in the winter, do wrestling for the love of everything holy. Please, think about wrestling. I'm telling you that right now. It helps out a lot, especially in technique. And if you're looking for a spring sport, try track and field, shot put, discus. I cannot preach those sports enough. If you're playing baseball, awesome. If you're doing lacrosse, awesome. If you're doing water polo, awesome. Whatever. If you're swimming, whatever. But again, if you're looking for sports, try wrestling, try track and field lineman. I'm telling you that right now. That's it. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. This has been a fun time talking offensive line. Next one is offensive weapons, talking about the watch list. And again, if you're watching this and you're angry, how come my name is not announced? This is March 3rd, 2022. If you're in June or May, check it out on the watch list. And again, make sure I have your recruiting info. Fill out the Deep Dish Football recruiting questionnaire. Thank you so much, and enjoy the morning.